But first, a disclaimer. Unfortunately, 2024 is not 1990, yet millions of millennials and even some Gen Z continue to blindly follow their parents' outdated financial playbook, wondering why they're still struggling. Today, I'm going to show you why well-intentioned financial advice from the previous generation could be costing you hundreds of thousands in lost wealth. And the worst part, your parents think they're helping you. Hi, my name is Rohit Das, and this channel is all about finding ways to get you to your most prepared self for life, finances, and career. Let's start with one of the biggest pieces of advice many parents give to millennials: the myth of career loyalty. Your parents probably told you something like, find a good company and stay there for life. In their era, this made perfect sense. Many companies offer defined benefit pensions, steady promotions, and genuine job security. But here's the reality check. According to Forbes, even back in 2014 when it was published, staying at one company for over 2 years can reduce your lifetime earnings by almost 50%. During the Great Resignation period that occurred just after COVID, job switchers saw median increases of over 15%, while employees who stayed saw salary raises of 7 to 8%. But what does this mean in dollar terms? Let's use an example. If you start at $60,000 and stay with one company for 5 years with an annual raise of 7%, you'll make about $90,000 at the end of year 5. But if you strategically switch companies at the end of years 2 and 4, you could be making $104,000 in the same time frame. Put another way, the difference between your cumulative income between the two scenarios is over $38,000 over a 5-year period. Now, this by no means is encouraging you to be a reckless job hopper. That's not the intention. Instead, what we want to do is to not be bound by the notion of blind loyalty towards a job if there are compelling alternate options available to you. The loyalty penalty is real, and at least for some, it leads to a reduction in your income creation potential. So just be mindful of it. One piece of advice a lot of my friends said they received was to buy a house as soon as possible. Sounds familiar? This advice made perfect sense when your parents bought their first home. Let's look at why. In 1990, the average home price was about 3 times a household's annual salary. Down payment, achievable with 1 year of aggressive saving. Mortgage rates, reasonable and stable. Fast forward to 2024, houses cost 8.5 times annual salary. Housing prices increased 2x faster than income. Down payments now often require 5 to 10 years of aggressive saving. Further, the average cost of tuition for children has increased nearly 180% over the last 20 years, even after accounting for inflation. And defined benefit plans have largely disappeared, replaced by defined contribution plans where how much money you end up with in retirement is primarily your concern and no longer your employer's. This isn't about working harder or saving more. The fundamental economics have changed completely. The third advice is what I call the education investment fallacy. It goes something like this: get any college degree, it's worth the debt. No, it's probably not. In your parents' era, the average college cost in 1980 was $2,800 adjusted for inflation. Student debt, manageable with part-time work. Most degrees guaranteed better employment opportunities. The 2024 reality? Today, average college expense is close to $10,000 a year. 40% of recent graduates work in jobs not even requiring degrees, and nearly half of master's programs leave students financially worse off than they were before. The modern truth: education is still valuable, but blindly accumulating student debt isn't the answer. And this last one is quite controversial. Save 10% of your money for retirement and you'll likely be fine. Your parents' retirement reality: pensions were common, Social Security was more stable, life expectancy was shorter, healthcare costs were lower. 2024 reality: guaranteed pensions are nearly extinct, Social Security faces uncertainty, life expectancy is longer, healthcare costs are skyrocketing. The new math suggests that you may need to save between 20 and 25% of your income for retirement from an early age and not 10%. So, what should we do instead? let me share what I call the 2025 Financial Playbook, a modern approach that acknowledges today's economic realities while building towards tomorrow's goals. First, let's talk about career management. The days of climbing one corporate ladder step at a time are over. Today's successful professionals are more like rock climbers, moving both vertically and horizontally to reach the top. Make it a habit to evaluate your market value every 6 to 12 months. Use platforms like Glassdoor and LinkedIn to understand industry salary trends, but don't stop there. In an AI-driven world, your skills need to evolve constantly. I recently spoke with Sharon, a marketing professional who started learning AI-driven data analytics and content creation in 2023. Within a year, she leveraged these new skills for a 30% pay increase. That's a great example of how to think about your career. When it comes to housing, we need to think creatively. The traditionally buy a house as soon as possible advice, especially in the West, simply doesn't work when homes cost 8.5 times their average annual salary. Instead, consider strategies like house hacking, a strategy that involves becoming a landlord and renting out portions of your primary residence to generate income or to cover your mortgage. Alternatively, take advantage of remote work opportunities where available to live in low-cost areas while earning big city salaries. One of my friends, Mike, moved from San Francisco to Nashville while keeping his tech sales job, effectively giving him a 40% raise through a cost of living arbitrage. The education landscape has also transformed dramatically. Instead of blindly pursuing expensive degrees, focus on the ROI of your educational investments. Consider this: while a traditional MBA might cost $150,000, many professionals are achieving similar career advancement through targeted certification programs costing under $10,000. Look into employer-funded education opportunities because many companies now offer tuition reimbursement or training stipends. Build practical skills alongside formal education through side projects or freelance work as well. Finally, think about modern wealth building holistically. The days of putting all your money in a savings account and earning 0.01% interest are long gone. Today's successful savers diversify across traditional and digital assets. They understand tax-advantaged solutions. They build multiple income and asset streams, not just for extra cash, but for financial security in an uncertain world. Here's what this might look like in practice. Meet James, a 28-year-old marketing professional making $60,000 annually. He loves his parents and deeply respects their views, but this is what he chose to do as a part of his modern wealth building strategy. First, he's homed in on career income maximization. As a part of that, he negotiated a 15% raise by presenting market data showing he was underpaid. After the first year at his new job, he started a weekend social media consulting business, earning an extra $1,500 monthly. And now he takes free Google and Coursera certification courses whenever he can to increase his market value. He made smart income housing decisions as well. Instead of rushing to buy or even rent solo, he shares a 3-bedroom apartment with 2 roommates. Because of that, he saves $800 monthly compared to renting alone. James also has a no-frills and savvy modern investment approach. He maxes out his employer-sponsored 401k match, which stands at 6% or $3,600 annually. He contributes $500 monthly to a Roth IRA. He uses a high-yield savings account earning 5% for emergency funds, and he invests the $800 difference in money that he saves from rent in low-cost index funds monthly so that he can take full advantage of dollar cost averaging over time. James is also strategic about debt management. He went to college and carries student debt. So when the opportunity presented itself, he refinanced student loans from 6.8% to 3.5%. And he uses credit card rewards strategically as well, earning $400 in travel rewards every year. The other good thing is that he realizes how bad high interest debt is and avoids carrying it altogether. Finally, he is proactive about finding alternate channels to wealth building. He recently invested in himself by learning new AI skills that cost him $2,000 but led to $8,000 of side projects. He participates in his company's employee stock purchase plan at 15% discount. He started taking small steps in real estate through REITs while saving for a down payment. The result? In just 2 years, James has increased his total annual income from $60,000 to $98,000 while building an emergency fund corpus that is larger than most American families have today. James has also accumulated thousands more in retirement accounts compared to some of his peers, which will actually compound beautifully over his working life. And he has created multiple income streams for financial security. This modern approach has helped James build more wealth in 2 years than his parents likely did in their first decade of working, despite starting at a same inflation-adjusted salary. The key is staying flexible and adaptable. Your parents' financial advice comes from a place of love and experience, but the world they succeeded in doesn't exist anymore. The rules have changed, the game has changed, and your strategy needs to change as well. The good news, once you understand these changes, you can build wealth more effectively. See you on the next one.